BJ from More Game Gumbo here. Gumbo Live, episode number 44. I've got Chris Wray from the Opinionated Gamers, and we're talking Gen Con games because he's played a bunch of them. We're talking about his spicy games of the con. Let's talk about this last game that I see on your list. You know, this is one I didn't see, and I found out it's not my fault, Chris, that I didn't see this game, right?
Yeah, can I go on my full rant here?
Absolutely. Rant away, man.
Okay, so this is how I earned my reputation on the Capital City curmudgeon. So I don't let myself be interested in every game. I look through every single game on Eric Barton's previews, but I only let myself really get excited about 10 to 20 games. Shadows Amsterdam is one of those games because it's basically Codenames mixed with Mysterium. And if you like Codenames and you like Mysterium, and frankly, if you don't like fun. This is the perfect mix of the two, and it's really a good game. I actually played it at Gen Con, so I was super pumped going into the event. Now, I don't go to Gen Con as a member of the press. Brandon does. And so I asked him to go in the halls, and, this was rumored to be in short supply. They were air freighting in 500 copies, and I asked him to pick up a copy for me. So Brandon texts me, and he says they don't have Shadows Amsterdam. So I'm like a little bit, sad. And then I go on Twitter, and I recognize the designer has just tweeted that there are 500 copies at the booth, and the publisher has tweeted this. And I'm like, Brandon doesn't know what he's talking about. So Gen Con opens, I go buy some Blue Orange games, and then I head over to Libellude, who publishes this, and I'm like, hey, this must, is Shadows Amsterdam here? And they're like,
I want my game.
Yeah.
I want my game.
Yeah. And they're like, no, it's not here. It's not out yet. And I said, well, when's it coming out? And they go, oh, it's coming out in February. And I'm like, February? I'm like, I just read from the designer and the publisher that it's here. So I didn't say that to them. So I walk over to the Asmodee store, and they don't have a copy. Well, later in the day, they have this handmade copy, this handmade sign that says no Shadows Amsterdam today, and then a handwritten sad face. And meanwhile, Libellude is, if you go on BGG that day, they are running repeated ads saying that there are 500 copies at the booth. And I'm like, what am I missing? Is this do I have to use a secret code word or something? So we play the game. I'm like, when's it coming out? And they're like, February? And I'm like, and then they go, or October? We're not really sure. And then the people at Asmodee,
guys, man.
Yeah, the people at Asmodee are like, oh, it'll be here tomorrow. It definitely never showed up to the show. They said it was going to be there every day, and it never made it. So it was really funny because it was one of my most anticipated games, and it just never got to the event. And it's a great game.
As far as you know?
They lost the pallet.
Oh.
So they found it, my understanding is they found it on Monday. So there are 500 games somewhere in Indianapolis, and if I get really bored one weekend, I'm going to go hunt them down. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that would be interesting. How would you track them down?
Yeah, it's a detective game, so I'd have to employ the skills that I'd be using in Shadows Amsterdam. But
okay, so we talked about trying to find the game. Tell us a little bit about the game. From what I understand, it's a social deduction game, sort of?
Yeah, it's sort of. I mean, it's actually probably most similar to Mysterium more than Codenames. But
Okay.
The comparison to Codenames is you have a card that shows places where you can collect evidence, and then you have to return it to a spy master. And I'm mixing up sort of the terminology a little bit. But so you basically play cards down sort of like Mysterium. Like, this card means move to this space. And you have to get your teammate to move to the right space. But the problem is there are bad spaces to move. And if you move to 3 of those through the course of the game, you lose, which is how I lost to Luker and Brandon. The person giving me clues, she was not good. I don't. she was doing it based on colors, and I was being very literal. And but
let's not spoil it. You do talk a lot about it in the episode. So
yeah, but
Chris, did we lose you?
Oh, are you there?
Hold on a second. I think we lost Chris there.
Am I here?
Hey, Chris.
Can you see me?
BJ from More Game Gumbo here. We had some technical problems there. We've lost Chris. Hopefully he should be punching back in there. So hey, guys in the group, you've heard 4 games here: Ultimate Werewolf Legacy, and Gizmo's Blue Lagoon, and Shadows of Amsterdam. Which one of those? Hey, there you are, Chris. He's back.
Sorry about that.
I was telling the chat group that he's talked about some spicy games: Ultimate Werewolf Legacy, Gizmo's Blue Lagoon, Shadows over Amsterdam. Which one of those games would anybody want to check out? Man, and something's going on with the chat, by the way. I'm not getting these chat messages till late, so something's going on with the B Live subscription. I apologize about that, Chris.
No problems.
Okay, you can still hear me? Okay, good. So let's check out some of these messages here. Let's see. Jay Peak said, "Oh yeah, the Karuba one is the one he was wondering about." So man, some of these are pretty old, but I'm just getting these messages now. Let's see what else. Yep. Sean Jones says he's always checking out Phil Walker Harding, so that is good. Oh, and Brandon's been paying attention, so I did not know he was checking in on you there. So, and he said, "Congratulations, you got Moana through Moana through the desert." Okay, I got it. I got the joke. I got the joke. That's good. Wow, he's Brandon was checking out all of the stuff. Leave that Libelud demo girl alone.
He did do a great job, but they just didn't have the game, and they kept telling me they had the game.
Well, you know what? I don't want to spoil it. You go into a lot more detail in the episode, and if you really want to hear a cranky Chris Wray, he goes off on it there. So